Hello and welcome to Greyscale. I am the Simulated Intelligence Multiple Personality System, but you can call me Simps if you'd prefer. The purpose of this session is to introduce you, the student, to a virtual learning environment and test out the efficiency of artificial lessons on a strong mind such as your own. You'll be taught mechanics and asked to solve puzzles while we monitor your progress as a means of collecting data on our own ability to teach you how to do things. There will be 13 lessons of increasing difficulty, but you will be provided with help along the way, so don't be too intimidated. We're here to support you. I suppose if you can hear my voice right now, that should be indication enough of the success of your resource pack, but just to make certain, please observe the wall to your left. If what you see could be described only as beautiful, or as nothing short of modern art, then the pack should be working. This is how loud my voice is, as dictated by the player slider in your sound settings. You can turn me up or down, but please don't turn me off, as I am here to provide a unique and well-rounded learning environment.
Welcome to your first lesson. You may notice that my voice has changed since you last heard it. Well, part of this test run is seeing what kind of vocal synthesizer resonates the most with students. So each lesson will be taught on completely randomized voice and personality settings to ensure we get the most unbiased results possible. Crucial part of this teaching style is recapping important details, so let's review the core concepts of that lesson. Light is a solid block that is only present in the color world. Aether doors can be opened or closed by a lever, and dimensional doors swap you between the color world and the gray world. You got all that? If you do, I think you're ready for the next lesson.
Now that you've gotten the basic lesson structure down, the complexity is going to start slowly increasing. So be sure to take your time and plan ahead. There's no shame in stopping to think about things before you do them. Hey, I get it. Sometimes you need to take a step back and consider every possibility on a blank slate. Try picturing what dimension you'll be in after each swap before you enter the room. Great job back there. Now let's review the core concepts of that lesson. Most importantly, sometimes the only way to get to another area is by swapping, so plan ahead. Also, make sure to look out for staircases and one-way level design, because once you exit some areas, you may not be able to come back immediately.
It seems like you're starting to get the hang of this lesson format, so I won't explain too much beforehand. Just know, though, it's not immediately obvious. There's a new type of block introduced in this lesson. Let's see how long it takes you to find it. That sure was a lot of levers. Now, let's review the core concepts of that lesson. Shadow blocks are the gray world equivalent of light blocks, and completely disappear in the color world. Also, mechanisms require multiple levers to be flipped before they actually activate, so be sure to follow those connection dots.
Stop! Don't go any further. See these holes on the floor covered by light blocks? Pay attention. This lesson is going to really require you to survey your surroundings and come up with a plan before you try executing it. So be thorough. See, you're becoming a natural on those levers. Now let's review the core concepts of that lesson. First of all, always explore everywhere in both dimensions, because you never know what shadow or light block secrets you might find. Also, some areas seem like they're only accessible in one dimension, but see if you can find a way to get at them from another angle. Anyways, on to lesson 5. I think you'll like what we're teaching next.
Okay, I'm very excited about this lesson, and I really want to tell you why. Like, really badly. But I just can't. Not yet, anyway. Because you're gonna have to see it for yourself. And you're gonna see why I had to hold it off. Just go to the level. It has a very cool, very pretty new thing. Wasn't that awesome? Now, let's review the core concepts of that lesson, because, oh, come on. Look, rainbow and prisms. Rainbow prisms. Right? Prism? Well, the prisms that shoot out rainbow bridges, but only in the color world, and can activate beacons, which in turn activate all sorts of other stuff. And remember, even if you're in the gray world, beacons remain activated, so be sure to keep track of them when you switch dimensions.
Behold, a liquid of indeterminate hue. Yeah, this room is full of frothy lava, a hot, bubbling substance that surprisingly improves the learning experience, somehow. And it's got a lot of pretty colors, so that's a bonus too. Just don't touch it, or you'll die. Well, not die, but you'll restart the lesson, which is generally bad. There you go. I can barely tell that you had prolonged exposure to prismatic death juice. Now, let's review the core concepts of this lesson. So, obviously, don't touch the burny stuff, but also, prisms can be turned on and off, just like doors, and they can go through glass, but you can't. That'll be important to remember going forward. Speaking of which, please do that. Go. Go forward. Please. Just leave.
Okay, I'm gonna give you this one since it might be a little confusing. Those light blue blocks, if they're turned on, you can climb them in the color world. Well, it's more like if you hold shift, you can wall jump off them, but one of the directions you can wall jump is straight upwards. So that's basically climbing. And I consider climbing pretty epic, just saying. I'm not gonna lie, that lava was just there for decoration, so sorry, I guess. Oh well, can't let stage hazards get in the way of a little bit of aesthetic vision. See, that one was easy. Now let's review the core concepts of that lesson. Climbing, duh. You can climb blue walls, you can jump off them onto each other, you can toggle them with levers. It's a whole thing.
Whoa there, weary traveler. You've reached the mountain. I've seen many a traveler enter, but none return. If we're sticking to the theme, you may consider this your midterm exam. 4 layers, 4 entrances to the inner chamber. Only 1, maybe 2 solutions. Please use a number 2 pencil. Your time starts now. Rest your eyes, weary traveler. Rest your mind. 4 layers in a hub room could be a lot to manage, especially with so many activators and connections. And so the traveler, taken by surprise, burned in the bubbling, frothing magma below, only to be born anew, ready to face the mountain once more. Congratulations on completing your midterm! I know it's more than halfway through the levels, but believe me, you're only just getting started. Now, let's review the core concepts of the lesson, although admittedly, aside from the remote connectors, I think the only additional mechanic was the copper pistons, which act like, well, regular sticky pistons attached to copper blocks. Almost as if that's exactly what they are. Almost.
This lesson has layers, much like a veiled metaphor. A metaphor depicting a vast ocean of lava across which you must travel to complete your journey of self-discovery. And I have an idea for how to enhance your experience. I'm gonna try playing some music and seeing if that does anything for your experience. We'll see how this goes. You know what? Actually, I think that may be more distracting than helpful. Oh well, it was worth a try. You know, for something as visually inviting as it is, frothy lava is a bit of a misnomer. It's not actually frothy, and it makes you very, very dead. Did I get you with the last bit where you need an extra prism? I was really proud of that one. Now, let's review the core concepts of that lesson. Prisms can be placed not only on the ground, but on themselves as well. And as you may discover, they can also be placed in different directions, but still on top of each other. Just, food for thought.
Time for your next lesson. But this one's not a puzzle lesson. It's an English lesson. And here it is. Quixotic. Adjective. Exceedingly idealistic. Unrealistic and impractical. Unreachable. Example usage. Getting to that tower in the middle of the level is a quixotic task. Oh man, that was a fun one. Now, let's review the core concepts of that lesson. You finally figured out how to stack prisms. That's a cool one. Turning them around by 90 degrees so you can climb up them, creating a spiral staircase pattern. That's a useful one. Can really help you conserve prisms and space in general.
Wow. Already on the second to last lesson. You're a fast learner, at least relative to most of the other students who already went through this particular simulation. Though, truth be told, most of our volunteer students here are here for the money and not for the experience, so they're not the brightest. That's sort of reflected here. This lesson isn't too hard, but of course, it's buttering you up for the difficulty of the final challenge, so get comfy while you still can. Here we are. Now, let's review the core concepts of that lesson. And the only real new concept was beacon locking. So when you shot the prism at the beacon through the ether door, that locked it. So it couldn't close until you broke that prism. That's a very unique advantage to have in a lesson. But enough of my rambling. Good luck.
Oh, you poor naive fool. It's time for your final exam. I'll be your proctor, and I'm overseeing this whole dang lesson. We had to nickname this lesson Hotland because I really wanted to call it HE double hockey stick, but apparently that's not appropriate for a school environment. Freaking bureaucrats. Don't they know intimidation is the best motivator for healthy learning? I'll show them. Now go solve your puzzle. See? I told you! I told you intimidation worked! You did amazingly, kid. You absolutely nailed it! That puzzle was not easy, but you overcame it and finished the lesson like a champ! Well, it's quite a relief. Of all the personalities I tried out over the course of this experiment, this one feels the most, natural. I like being kind of sadistically cruel. It's kind of fun. Anyways, you can proceed to the exit. Thank you so much for your time. You have a good day.
Ah, another beautiful day in the real world. Yeah, this sucks.
Oh my god.
I sure do love that all the laugh tracks on YouTube are copyrighted. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the map.